Hi everyone, thanks for joining me here. So today we are going to install MinStack and we'll deploy it using Docker. So if you don't know what Min is a web framework. So M stands for MongoDB and SQL, NoSQL server, and then Express.js, which is a web application framework for Node.js, and then AngularJS, often referred to as the front end, and then Node.js as web server, JavaScript web server. So there are variations of this stack, such as a MERN stack, where it replaces the Angular in Min with R, as in React.js, and then you have the MEVN, where Angular is replaced with the Vue.js. So we'll get started with MinStack here. So for this one, we need to create a directory. So if we go to our projects directory that I created previously, we're going to create a min docker directory. Then we're going to navigate to that min docker directory, and then we'll create two more subfolders here, backend and then front end. Then we'll check our work here. So we're going to try to create this directory structure here with the files into the directories. So we already have the two directories configured, so we just need to touch some files. So backend server.js, and then backend package.js, and then backend docker file, and then we need to also create a docker file for the front end here, and then lastly the sole docker compose file inside the main directory here. Let's check our work here. So as you can see, it's the files are here. Okay, so we're good to go. Okay, so let's try a simple Express API that connects to MongoDB and responds to a GET repo request. So we're going to open up backend server.js file here. So going to import the required packages. And then const express const mongoose require mongoose. Application express. So the port will specify to be 5000. So connect to MongoDB container using service name. This should be a comma here. So if the connection is successful, we'll throw a message here. If not, we'll throw an error. Then we'll also provide the error that's happening. So this is the basic test route. So we're just going to throw hello from Express MongoDB backend. And start server. will direct the users to this directory here, to this URL. Let's double check here. Okay, so we're done with this file, so we're saving this file. Going to create the backend package.json file here. save this. So now we're going to edit the backend's Docker file. So here we'll specify we're using the node base image. Then we're going to specify a work directory here. Going to copy the package files from a location. And we'll run npm install, and we'll copy the rest of the application. Then we'll export port. In this case, expose port. In this case, we'll be exposing port 5000. Then finally, we'll start the server here. Okay, so we are done the back end part here. So now we have to move on to the front end here, the Docker file for front end. Before we edit the front end files, we have to install Angular here. So we're going to do npm install globally at Angular CLI. Sorry, I made a mistake here. It should be npm install. So let's go to our front end directory here, and then we're going to we have to create a new Angular app here. ng new app. Directory is the current directory, and then skip git install. As you can see, a bunch of files were created here. So we're just going to edit the default welcome message here. So the file is looking at a source app, and then app component. Okay. Looks like it doesn't exist, so we're just going to create one component and then .html. We're just going to copy paste something from our end. It's going to be very simple message here. Finally, we need to edit for the front end. We need to edit the Docker file here. So we're going to open it up in Vim, and then we're going to containerize the Angular front end here. So I'm going to comment, use Node.js to build Angular app. From node 18 as builder work dir would be /app. I'm going to copy the packages over. Copy rest of the files over. We'll use a lightweight image to serve Angular build here. So then we'll copy the built Angular file, Angular app to the Nginx private folder, public folder here. Then we'll expose port AD and then comment Okay, so we're done. We're going to close this Docker file here. So now we're going to go back one directory, and then we're going to edit the Docker compose file here. So this file defines and runs all our services, backend, frontend, and database. So we're going to specify the version here, 3.8. Services, we're going to specify the MongoDB database first. So we're going to specify Express backend API here. I will define the Angular front end here. Okay, so let's do a Docker Compose check here. So it's complaining about this. It should be actually container name. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, so it looks like no errors here. So we're good to go. So let's see if we can launch this now. So Docker Compose, then build the Docker Compose app. Okay, so as you can see, we received an error here. So I made a mistake here again. So let's see here if we can fix this. So it's likely in the backend Docker file. If we go here, npm install there. Okay, so let's try rebuilding. Okay, I think the issue is this one here. So it should be package.json, not package.js. So I'm just going to move this, and then I'm going to go back to the old directory here, try running it again. Again, looks like I'm making the mistake of putting npm as an nmp. So is it in the front directory? Front dir. Let's see here, work dir application. Yep, front end here. So go to front end. Okay, so now we have a new error here. It's telling us that the version that we're using, it is the Node version is not the current one, so we have to unfortunately change it. So vim front end, and then Docker file. Going to put Node 20, version 20. Make sure everything is the same here. Builder, working their app, JSON. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm sure you'll complain about the backend, perhaps backend's Node being 18. So let's see. Okay, so we received a new error here. So it looks like this particular section is causing issues, so we have to revisit this particular file here. So we're going to go front end, JSON, so we have to change this particular section here. Let's see if we're able to resolve this issue. Okay, so I had to open up the Docker file, and looks like I forgot this equal sign. So maybe that was causing the issue. So let's try again. Okay, I think finally we're good to go here. So let's just hope. Let's see here. Let's try to run this again. Okay. Looks like we are up here. Yep, so mean Docker frontend, and then we have the MongoDB. So now we're just going to check the website here. Okay, so the web server is up. And then if we go to 5000 here, the MongoDB here. Right. Thanks for joining here. This was just a demonstration of deployment of MinStack using Docker. So I'm just going to Docker Compose down, so it's brings down all the containers here. So and we're good to go. Thanks for joining.